In this video, I'll be talking about all the different 3D printer filaments for beginners. Hello YouTube, my name is Edu and welcome to Darth Prints. Like I said before the intro, I'm going to be talking about all the different 3D printer type filaments for beginners. So I'm just going to start out with the most available and cheapest filament, PLA. PLA, it's available. You can get it just about anywhere. This is atomic filaments. I use this one a lot. It's, PLA is easy to print with, and it comes in a lot of colors. I have red, green, blue, purple, black marble. This has little specks of white in it. I'm actually printing my SpaceX Falcon 9 project in PLA, and all the black parts are going to be in this marble here. So if you want to watch those videos, the link will be down in the description if you want to watch those. And one downside of this is after you print it, it doesn't last very long. It starts to deform, so it won't last forever. It's very temperature sensitive. It's very heat sensitive. You can't leave it out in your car for too long. It's very heat sensitive. You can't leave it out in your car or in the sun for long periods of time. It'll warp. It'll melt even, and it's mainly for like desk toys, little gadgets, and just little stuff that you use around the house, stuff that can't be set out in the sun. The printing temperature for the nozzle is 210 to 220 degrees Celsius. The Prusa Mini that I have, it automatically sets it to 215 degrees Celsius. But I found that often like strings on your print that you have to pick off and clean up. So I recommend either adding 5 degrees or taking off 5 degrees off of 215 degrees Celsius. And the bed temperature is 55 to 60 degrees Celsius. So that's PLA. Next is PETG. This is a more stronger filament. But like PLA, it's becoming more available, and which means it's becoming more cheaper. But it's stronger than PLA, and it can take more heat than PLA. But again, you don't exactly want to leave it out in your car for long periods of time. It'll still warp, and when you print with it, it gets kind of I heard somebody call it boogery, but it'll stick to the nozzle when printing, so you'll have to knock off little beads of filament when you're printing, like off of your print. And I'm trying not to laugh here at boogery. And I had trouble with that with PLA, but it was just a clog or something. So. But PETG just does that on its own, so that's kind of one of the downsides of it. The nozzle temperature on this that you want to print with it is 245 to 255 degrees Celsius, and bed temperature is about 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. So it's definitely a good filament to use if you are wanting to print wall mounts for like brooms and mops and stuff like that. And next is glow in the dark filament. This that I have right here is from matterhackers.com. It is 1.75 millimeter PLA, but it's also available in PLA, ABS, and TPU. TPU is more of a flexible filament, definitely not for beginners. I haven't printed in it, but I've heard that's not for beginners. And obviously it glows in the dark. The nozzle temperature for this is 210 to 240 degrees Celsius for the nozzle. I don't know if it varies between different types, but in the bed is between 60 and 70 degrees Celsius. So I think my dad printed some T-Rex bones in glow in the dark. So yeah. The next one I have is ASA. Let me pull it out of the bag here and show you what it looks like. This is from Filament 1 Premium. It's the Pro Select. I think I mentioned it in a previous video. I think we get this in a monthly subscription from this company, but ASA is it's a UV, weather, and temperature resistant material, in addition to regular ABS material, which I will talk about ABS in a minute, but it's best used for like outdoor clips, planters, fixtures, and other outdoor parts. So you can leave this out in the sun for long periods of time and it won't do anything. So you can use it as just anything outside. You can leave it in your car in the sun. You can use it outside, like I said. And if you're printing something designed for outdoor use, ASA should be your go-to 3D printing material. The nozzle temperature on this filament is 250 to 260 degrees Celsius with a bed temperature of 90 to 100 degrees Celsius. So it's very durable and it's not very heat resistant. It is heat resistant. It's not very heat sensitive is what I was trying to think of as PLA. Next up I have is carbon fiber PETG. It has increased rigidity, which means it's really strong. It's highly desirable texture and look, and it works easily, and it reduces strings, and the printed parts hold better together, and it prints good on sharp corners as well. So yeah, the nozzle temperature for printing on this is, I think, 238 to 265 degrees Celsius, and you want to print this with a nozzle size about 0.4 millimeter or larger. The heat bed temperature is from 60 to 79 degrees Celsius. So yeah. Next is ABS. I don't have ABS filament with me right now, but here is some facts about ABS. ABS is a stronger filament and it's flexible, so you can squeeze it, you can bend it farther than normal filaments without it breaking. But when you do print it, you might want to have like a box with a door around your printer while printing, because it does produce a harmful fume while printing. It does require more heat when printing, with a nozzle temperature of 230 to 240 degrees Celsius and a bed temperature of 55 to 60 degrees Celsius. So you might want to watch out for those toxic fumes. I think my dad has a box that he put his printer in with the door so he can print it with ABS. So some more types that I don't have. There's nylons. Now, nylons you can dye, so if you buy a white nylon, you can dye it for any different color you want, and it can be a pain to print with, but it is really tough. It can withstand a lot of pressure, and if you hit it with a hammer, it wouldn't break as easily as PLA or PETG or anything like that. Next is TPU or TPE, which I mentioned a couple minutes ago. TPU and TPE is flexible. You can squeeze it, you can bend it, You can probably print squeaky toys or stress toys out of it. And a pro for TPU and TPE is you can remelt it and reuse it. But it can be a pain to print, and it's temperature resistant, so it melts easy like PLA. Next I have is PC. It's very stiff. You print it at about 110 to 100 degrees Celsius. But like ABS, it does produce harmful fumes while printing, so again, you might want to get a box or enclosure for your printer while printing with PC. And it doesn't print very easily either. I personally haven't printed with it, but I've heard that it's not very easy to print with. Next I have here is, well, lastly, what I have here is PVB. It's one of the rarer, uncommon filaments out there. It has the same temperature issues as PLA, it warps easily. You don't exactly want to leave it out in your car for too long, or it's not made for outside use like ASA. And it's stringy if you don't let it sit and harden for too long, for a few minutes. So that's all the 3D printer filament types for beginners. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment saying what your go-to filament is for any situation. And if you want to check out my Falcon 9 project that I'm working on, it's almost finished. I should have it finished by next week. If you want to check that out, the link is in the description. And I'll see you guys next week.